And welcome back, everyone, to game three here of the block of three. And it's DOB Nightfall versus Glacial Inferno here. DOB Nightfall on the blue side, Glacial on the red side. And I'm Random Minion Casting. And casting alongside me, as he has the first two games, is Aderant Luna. How are we looking, Luna?
We're looking. It's seeing as how it is almost officially summer. Where I'm at, the sun's finally going down, temperature's coming down, so things are finally starting to cool off. It's definitely nice.
That's good to hear. Now, DOB Nightfall gonna go with the same three bands have done all series here. Nocturne, Tryndamere, Yasuo. It's worked for them thus far. Glacial Inferno gonna go with Lucian Vayne. And finally, they're switching it up. They're gonna open Graves up and go with the Morg ban instead. They don't want Web Hippo on that Morgana mid yet again. DOB Nightfall gonna first pick a Blitzcrank here with Morgana off the table. And Glacial Inferno going to return with Jinx and Nami. So they're going to be the ones with the Nami this game. DOB Nightfall next going to go with Malzahar, looking most likely for Web Hippo in the mid lane. Very safe pick. Very in line with the purple theme of Morgana as well. And they're still considering their last pick of round one here. They've got about 10 seconds left. And it is going to be a Tristana. So very, very different picks for game three here from DOB Nightfall.
That that is, oh man, seeing Blitzcrank Tristana just gives me nightmares, man. Some bad times.
Yeah, especially into a Nami Jinx there, so they'll have to position very well. And the insta-lock Aatrox from Lord Raji there, he did it last game and it went pretty well actually. Did manage to get an early lead and was very impactful throughout the game. Did struggle a bit towards the end though, but I think that was a team-wide issue. Now, Glacial Inferno going to ban the Graves that they left open in the first rotation there. Still don't want to give it over to Gunth. DOV Nightfall happy to go with the Orianna once again. Don't fix what ain't broke. They worked last game. They're happy to ban it again this game. We'll have to see what the final bans here from both teams are.
Agreed.
10 seconds left on the clock here. And it's going to be either a jungle or top lane. They're going to ban the top lane. So that's going to be the Mordekaiser for Lord of Aces taken away. Looks like they've left the Darius open, which was what Lord of Aces picked last time into the Aatrox. So obviously they didn't feel like that was an issue for them. DOV Nightfall going to ban the Syndra last year. So both bans targeted at Windstorm in the mid lane. So we'll have to see what unique pick Windstorm can bring in game three here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting just because Malzahar is a pain to play against because of uh his I believe it's Maleficent Visions is the damage over
Suicides?
time ability.
Yep.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid saying AIDS on stream, but here we are, and that's the thing now.
I mean,
Rip.
I didn't name it. It's just what it is. And in reply to those,
True.
to that
I mean,
damage over time, they're replying with their own damage over time in the form of poison from Cassiopeia to deal with the Malzahar mid. And there'll be Renekton being picked up for Lord of Aces against Lord Raji's Aatrox. Guess he felt like the Darius didn't really work well either. And there we go. J4 for Gunt. We've seen him play it lots before last split in the spring split. He's not going to he's not going to reprise the Amumu again this game, going with the J4 instead. And we'll have to see what Glacial Inferno pick for their jungler here. They've kept it for the last pick, and they're going to be the ones picking up the Amumu instead. So I guess they liked what they saw when Gunt was playing it. They're going to pick it up for themselves.
I'm not gonna lie, I really like Glacial's comp. Glacial's comp meshes together so well. Whereas POV's comp, everything works great until you see the Tristana. It's like J4 ults. Oh, Tristana accidentally buster shots them out of the Cataclysm. Oops. Malzahar ults. Oh, I accidentally knocked them out of. Oops. That. I mean, don't get me wrong. Aside from her ult, Tristana puts out a lot of damage, and at later levels is one of the longest range ADCs in the game. But that being said, like if we're getting into team fights, that ult could be a make it or break it point.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of I'm helping moments here. And you've got the Blitzcrank potentially yoink people out of the Cataclysm as well. So lots of unit displacement on the side of DOV Nightfall, but they'll have to be careful how and where they use it because it could leave them in really odd positions. But they do have a lot of single target lockdown. I believe almost all their champions here have a single target lockdown.
Hmm. I would say that the best case scenario for DOV is you use Tristana ult not for the damage, but to knock someone you don't want in the fight out of the fight. You blitzcrank, you grab someone that you want to single out, and then everyone just jumps on them. That's probably their best case scenario. Whereas Glacial, I mean, you have Nami ult for peel or counter engage. You have the Cassiopeia Amumu Wombo combo. Aatrox can pull people into the fight. Jinx has her chompers. And the Super Mega Death Rocket once people are clumped. I mean, that's just an extremely solid team.
For sure. So they definitely have the advantage in the mid game here with the team fights going down. So DOV Nightfall going to have to look for their own picks here in the mid game, forcing picks, or they're going to have to dominate the early game like they did in game one. Game two, we did see Glacial Inferno get a hit, and with this particular team comp they have, if they get the lead early, they should potentially be able to close out in the mid game. So we'll have to see how that plays out. And with that, we will be headed towards intermission break here as we wait for the spec delay to run down before the game starts. So we'll see you guys in a couple of minutes on Summer's Rift. And welcome back, everyone. We have loaded on to Summoner's Rift here for Game 3 of the 3-game block between DovN Nightfall and Glacial Inferno. Huge changes in their champion picks here. Lord Raji, the only one to retain his pick with the Aatrox in the top lane, but other than that, lots of changes, and we're seeing a lot of pings coming down already from the side of DovN Nightfall looking for an invade, and they have that Blitzcrank, so an invade is fully expected at this point. Gunth running a little behind the rest of his team here, will be a bit late to the party, but they will start moving up, and it looks like on the side of Glacial Inferno, they don't have a proper 5-man scrimmage line set up yet. That girl is far into the own jungle. Will be able to spot them coming in though, so we'll be able to back up to safety there. And DOV is just going to get some deep vision down, look to see if they can get any more picks, but that girl and Nimue very wisely backing off there will remain safe after this invade, and they will just get vision onto the blue buff.
Minions have spawned.
Well, that's definitely the first, at least attempt in this split, but I don't recall too many 5-man invade attempts from the previous split either. So it's definitely a little refreshing to see.
Yeah, I think we only really saw it from 100 Weebs, and I think once from either Pendulum or Shadowkeeper's last split. But that being said, both junglers going to start on their red buffs this time, so a bit of a change up compared to the bot side starts from both junglers in the last 2 games here, and lots of changes, but both teams did not fake a leash, so both teams will be fully aware where the enemy junglers started here. Lord of Aces should be aware that Kamehameha is starting topside and might gank early there. Meanwhile, they should be aware that Gunth has also started his bot side. And it looks like Kamehameha is going for the invade, but bot lane, a beautiful hook lands onto that girl, and they're getting a lot of damage off there. Poison Lynch able to get a bomb up, and that will chunk it down to about 60%. Kamehameha invading onto Gunth in the jungle. That's an Amumu invading a Jarvan, and the Jarvan does manage to get his blue buff there. Web Hippo here to back up Gunth, and Kamehameha ran the wrong way. Does re-engage, get the damage down. The flash comes out as well, but now he's pincered between Lord of Aces and Web Hippo with no flash available, and that's going to be first blood going over to Lord of Aces.
Yeah, that's a big yikes.
And another beautiful hook here onto Nimue, but the bubble will save it. They managed to keep both Poison Lynch and Mohawk Gaming just barely there. Beautiful bubble to keep himself alive.
Yeah, very, very clean bot lane. In regards to what happened in the jungle, I feel like Windstorm should have answered and went over as well, because that very well could have been double buffs for Windstorm.
For sure. Unfortunately, he wanted to farm up a bit in lane. Does have a bit of a CS advantage. Top lane though, Lord Raji getting the solo kill onto Lord of Aces. He switched out the Darius for a Renekton, but it doesn't look like that's working out well for him at all in the top lane, as that solo kill is absolutely going to swing things Lord Raji's way, and Lord of Aces immediately teleporting back into lane to avoid losing too much CS.
Yeah, that was just nasty what Lord Raji did there. Like, ooh, wait, what? That jump? Hello?
Yeah, just that little hop there from Poison Lynch. Poison Lynch was safe, didn't really go down, but yeah, it's a bit of an odd hop. Anyways, Lord Raji's Aatrox, definitely something that teams will have to take note of going forward, because he's performing significantly better on that Aatrox than he did in the game 1 there.
I was just, I'm very curious as to what happened with that interaction there, because I'm almost certain that Nami's bubble would have interrupted the cast for Tristana's jump, but I guess I'm wrong.
Perhaps it's just where it needs to be in top lane. Lord Raji once more going really aggressive on Lord of Aces. Both flashes used there, and Lord of Aces will be able to get out, albeit very low on health, and we'll have to be careful for a re-engage. And one thing I want to note in this bot lane here, Mohawk Gaming running the Summoner's Spellbook, the Unsealed Spellbook, pardon me, so is currently carrying Smite. So we'll be able to drop a minion potentially for a surprise hook. We'll have to see if that actually does happen here in the bot lane.
It is a good strat.
A bit of a cheese strat, but it certainly has its place, and considering that both Nami and Jinx are very squishy, if he can land it, could potentially be a kill here, and he gets a unassisted grab there onto Nimue, and the damage is good. The pop comes down, and that's going to be a kill for Poison Lynch in the bot lane.
And that's one of the things that is completely disgusting about with Tristana lanes. Once Trist hits 6, when it's just the two of them, she can jump and then blast someone away to help secure a kill for herself.
Yeah, can use that rocket jump offensively along with the buster shot rather than for PO, and in that bot lane could very well do that, as she probably won't be able to buster shot either Jinx or Nami away well. Instead, they're going to go straight for that dragon. That's going to be Mountain Drake going over to DovN Nightfall, and we've seen this happen just about 40-50 minutes ago, but this time Mohawk Gaming stuck in the dragon pit. Has to be careful. Does have the flash available, but it looks like he's trying to buy time for Poison Lynch. Poison Lynch going to be able to hop out, and Mohawk going to flash himself to safety there, and that's going to be Windstorm's teleport used. Top lane, Lord Raji getting yet another kill onto Lord of Aces, the chain yoinking him back, and that's 2 solo kills now for Lord Raji in the top lane.
Yeah, it's definitely starting to look pretty similar to last game in the top lane. The question that I have is, can Raji take that lead that he's able to get himself this time and transition it elsewhere onto the map? Can he help Kamehameha get objectives? Can he counter jungle and invade potentially? Or can he, he does have teleport, so he could do cheeky plays and get some kills in bot lane.
And we did see him struggle a little bit last game to convert those leads he had in the top lane with the assistance of Kamehameha's ganks into something more. So an early game lead does not mean game over for DovN Nightfall in that top lane just yet. But that being said, he has a 2-level lead, has to have the ultimate available, and does manage to catch Lord of Aces. Lord of Aces looking like he's going to go down here potentially, but will be able to get out a little. It looks like Lord Raji not fully committing onto this one. Gets another knockup, and even if he doesn't get the kill, that's going to force Lord of Aces to be real careful here. He doesn't have the Fury of the Sands available, so can be dove quite easily at this point.
And it's just like, the really disgusting thing about that is, if you look at Aatrox's items, all he has is a Kindle Gem, a Doran's Blade, and a Longsword. And that's it.
Yeah, just a couple of items, 2 levels, and a dream, and it's paying off as he is getting a lot of damage on to Lord of Aces there. And there's no relief from the jungle either. Gunt not looking, and here the dive is coming in. He gets the Fury of the Sands, but it's not enough, and Lord Raji now just turret diving with impunity, picks up his 3rd solo kill there.
Yeah, and that's definitely huge for him, because like you said, in the previous game, while he did get leads, a lot of it was off of Kamehameha's health. Whereas in this game, he's just doing it himself. He's like, man, I don't need no jungler. I am an independent top laner, and I got this.
Yeah, in fact, both the junglers right now just power leveling. The only interaction they've had with the rest of the game was the early invade from Kamehameha, and Kamehameha is just desperately trying to farm back up, make himself relevant, look for that level 6 Curse of the Sad Mummy there. And on the other hand, Gunt also just power leveling. He is already 6, so we're looking for Gunt to start trying to get some ganks and action off sometime soon.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what Gunt will try to be able to do with his slight level advantage that he has over Kamehameha.
Yeah, but meanwhile, mid lane also not terribly interactive. Windstorm and Wepipo just farming up as hard as they can right now, shoving it back and forth. And Kamehameha actually going to go for that Herald early this time. And this might be the first time we've seen Kamehameha make the proactive move for Herald here. Is out of mana though, so has to be careful. Is going to take a bit of damage, but should be able to get it because there's no vision, so nobody knows that he's on it right now.
Right, and with his fed as Aatrox's right now, I mean, if need be, Lord Raj could have just went over there and helped, but I'm assuming Kamehameha just smited Rift Herald just to play it safe.
Yeah, he did smite, got the health back. Will get the first Herald of the game here for the side of Glacial Inferno. We'll have to see whether he can get where he's going to put it and look for a lead. Instead, we see a teleport now from Mohawk Gaming into the top lane. That unsealed spellbook, and Gunth is there as well. It was warded up though, but they might just force the gank here. They do see him coming, the Blitzcrank coming from the side, Mohawk there, but it's mid lane where we're getting a kill as Poison Lynch did a surprise gank, and the Malzahar ultimate will be able to lock down Windstorm. Top lane, a 3-man gank sees Lord Raji go down, and from 4-1 it's suddenly 4-3 as DOV fires back.
Very, very clean plays by the bot lane from DOV. Poison Lynch being able to really roam up to mid because Mohawk teleported top just to help get those advantages, and not just one but both of the other lanes. Very, very huge.
Yeah, and the CS discrepancy, despite the roam, is absolutely huge. Poison Lynch almost double that girl's CS right now. Absolutely huge. And now Kamehameha getting caught out in the jungle. The curse of the Sand Mummy comes down, but it's onto a Malzahar, and the shield will keep him alive. But now he's getting run down by Windstorm here. Will be able to get away, as instead Poison Lynch goes in, picks up Kamehameha. The Buster Shot knocks Windstorm back into the rest of the team, and Mohawk's going to pick that one up. That's 2-0, and Dragons on the table as DOV picks up the second Drake Inferno for themselves.
Man, it's like out of nowhere, DOV's just coming out swinging.
Yeah, again, very similar to game one there. Huge lead, or huge advantages going over to DOV Nightfall. They're up almost 4,000 gold top lane. Lord of Ace is teleporting back into the lane right away to try and deal with Lord Raji, but we'll have to be careful. He's still kind of squishy. Only has the Cutlass built along with the Ninja Tabbies compared to the Caulfield Warhammer as well as the Kindle Gem from the side of Raji. So still at a disadvantage in that top lane. If we look at the gold discrepancies here, he's down about 800 gold. The jungle, about 600 gold difference in favor of Gunth. Mid lane, about 1,300, and that's only recently in the last couple of minutes that Web Hippo pulled apart. And the bot lane, 2,300 gold. Again, almost double gold difference in that bot lane. Absolutely massive in favor of Poison Lynch. Kamehameha now looking for a dive in the top lane, misses the bandage toss, but will drop the Herald, and Lord of Aces has to be careful. He might get dove here. Raji and Kamehameha both more than happy to dive that turret. Instead he'll back off and cede first turret to Glacial Inferno here.
Yeah, I definitely like this play by Inferno, just because it goes to show that they're willing to adapt. The previous games, they were too focused on trying to get kills. So far this game, you saw them, they got a Rift Herald. They haven't been able to secure a Dragon yet, but they also got first turret. So like they're definitely toning down the tunnel vision a little bit as we see this massacre start to take place.
But Gunth was just waiting in the wings. The Flag and Dragon Cataclysm are good, and Raji will not be able to find a way to get out, and so they will be able to shut him down. Their kill is going to go over to Lord of Aces, so Lord of Aces is going to build a bit of a bounty for himself, help to close the gold gap a little bit there. Now down to about 750 gold from the original 800, but that means he also will get the opportunity to shove out as well. And bot lane, Poison Lynch doing work, getting a lot of damage down onto that bot lane turret as well. It's down to one play. Mid lane, Kamehameha looking for a gank. Will smite onto Web Hopper to break the shield. They get the Curse of the Sad Mummy now, but it's Windstorm who's going to go down first. It's a 1-for-1 trade in the mid lane, and that was a 2-for-1, two-man gank, which got turned around. So well played by DOV Nightfall.
Yeah, it was very clean. Like that's pretty much all you can say about that. It was well played.
And now they're going to try and finish off what they started, looking to get that mid lane turret as Mohawk roaming up, and he's got the Moby Boots once again this game. He can afford to leave Poison Lynch in that bot lane because Poison Lynch is really far ahead, and he's going to pick himself up the second turret of the game, going in onto that girl. He gets the rocket jump, and the flashes come out from both the ADCs there. That girl will survive, but had to blow heal and Flash. That will not be available, but Poison has to watch out. He's getting collapsed on as Windstorm shows up from behind, and the Petrifying Gaze manages to land the root from the choppers as well, and that's going to be Poison Lynch getting shut down by Windstorm, and Web Hippo going down as well to Nimue this time, and they trade 2 for 1 as Windstorm goes down in that fight, but that's a good trade in favor of Glacial Inferno.
Yeah, very good. Like, because at this point in the game, you see the DOV, they're starting to come online, they're getting more kills, they're starting to get objectives, they are transitioning into the mid-game very strongly. But if Glacial can keep getting very strong picks like that, and just making more time with the carries from DOV just stay off the map, then the easier it will be for Glacial to come back and take control of this game if possible.
And Glacial going straight for that Herald again. They're, as you said, learning from their mistakes, so they're tunneling very hard on these objectives, specifically the Herald here. And we did see the pings coming down from Web Hippo. They will get spotted out, but only Web Hippo is in the area, and I'm not sure that he's going to go in on this 3v1. And so that will be Herald going over once again to Glacial Inferno, and they're going to give it over to Kamehame again. So he might be able to take another turret down. We'll have to see, because on the opposite side of the map, Poison Lynch is pushing up here into the bot side inner turret, but he has to be careful. Doesn't have vision out, will spot Windstorm, and it will have to be careful because Windstorm killed him the last time. He's grounded, but Windstorm's taking damage. We'll have to flash to keep himself alive there, and we see the aggression from Poison Lynch. He's outside turret range, and the Petrifying Gaze will not be able to get him, but they will trade 1 for 1 there, as he will still end up going down to the poison from Cassiopeia, but that will give Dragon over to DOV Nightfall. It is getting pinged out, so Glacial is going to run in and see if they can intercept and try and stop it. Kamehame coming in now, running in with that girl and Nimue behind him, but he's too little too late. Cloud Drake going down DOV Nightfall, but beautiful CC, they've layered it, and we see DOV getting stuck up. Gunt gets out though, and that's that girl going down, and the damage is good. They've managed to kill all 3. That's a triple kill for Web Hippo there, and that's an ace for the side of DOV Nightfall.
That was a wow. That was a phenomenal play by Nami. The only thing that I personally would have changed is I think they ulted a little too soon after the bubble dropped, and they didn't allow time. They didn't get the max amount of time for the CC. The stun CC overlap, and that doesn't stack. So that's a little bit of a misplay, but aside from that, that was very clean. If they just had a little bit more damage, they would have came out of that fight on top.
And one thing to note was the Super Mega Death Rocket wasn't used by that girl in that fight, and I think that might have cost them. There was a double kill going down as well. Poison Lynch successfully killing Nimue and Windstorm, and might even get out of it as the fancy feet they're dodging, but now will get locked in. The Super Mega Death Rocket finally comes down. The shutdown going over to Lord Raji though, and that's going to be a 300 gold bounty picked up into that already really fed Aatrox in the top lane.
That is nice, but when you look at the stats, that's definitely unfortunate, because right now that girl is just so far behind. She only has 66 farm in an 18-minute game. That is abysmal.
Yeah, she has less than half of Poison Lynch's CS here. Poison Lynch's gold, pardon me. Poison Lynch over 8,000 gold right now. Richest person in the game by a long shot. And in fact, even Mohawk Gaming has more gold than that girl right now. So definitely that girl having a bit of problems this game. They will not be able to stop Shelly though. And Shelly going to get a lot of damage onto that mid lane turret. Chunks about half of it down, but that's all they get. Because they can't push in as the rest of DOV has arrived. And meanwhile, we see Lord of Aces has managed to recover, is catching up in CS, is caught up in terms of scoreline there, and in terms of gold is actually now ahead of Lord Raji, and he's going for that split push pressure in that top lane. They already have the inner turret down, so yeah, he's just going to keep sending those waves into that inhibitor turret now, while the rest of his team sieges up mid.
Right, and that is definitely one of the very, very nice things about Renekton, he is another one of those champions to where if at any point in the game you feel like you can just ignore him, you are putting yourself into a hole. Because all of a sudden, as we can see here, yo, where did my top lane go? Why are we only at our inhib turret now? What happened? And then you see, oh, Renekton was able to free farm at some point. He was able to sneak a couple of kills there and there.
And the push is good. Mid lane though, it's a 5v4 breaking out as the bandage toss lands onto Mohawk Gaming. Petrifying Gaze comes across, they will be able to pick him up, but the damage is coming back as Windstorm now, the target will go down. Poison Lich getting a triple kill here onto Raji, Kamehame, and Windstorm, and now it's just that girl and Nimue left alive, limping back to safety. Lord of Aces in the meantime did pick up the top lane inhibitor turret as well, and is now taking the top lane inhibitor, while the rest of the team picks up the mid lane inhibitor, and this is an absolute replay of game one. They've cracked the base open here in 2 lanes, except that this time they're looking to go down to the bot lane. We see the teleport coming out of Web Hippo into the bot lane here. He's just gonna push this out. He's got a minion wave with him. Gunth has joined him, so they will be able to pick this inner bot lane turret up as well for 3 turrets and 2 inhibitors in this one push.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the best pushes I've seen so far since the creation of the league. I feel like that was just nasty.
Yeah, and that was done without Baron. Baron is still on the table. This time they did not opt to go for the Baron. Instead, we see them looking down at the Dragon instead. That is a Cloud Drake, will be Cloud Soul for the side of DOV Nightfall if they can pick this one up, and that will give them movement speed boosts after using their ultimate. So Lord of Aces will be able to run amok in the backline that much harder and faster.
Right, but just as you said, they were able to do that push without Baron mode. That means that they also did it without needing Dragon Soul.
The top lane, Lord of Aces, getting caught out here, getting collapsed on by almost all the members of Glacial Inferno, and they're going to trade Lord of Aces for that Cloud Soul there, and I think that's a worthwhile trade.
Oh yeah, like for sure. Like a temporary thing for permanent buff for the rest of the game. It sounds like a win to me.
Besides, Lord of Ace is probably used to dying by now. He's 40% of his team's deaths and died a lot in the early game. DOB Nightfall though running straight to Baron right now. There's no vision on the past the river here for the side of Glacial Inferno. They don't even have anything past their buffs actually, so they will not see this, and that's going to be a free Baron for the side of DOB Nightfall. Lord of Aces respawning just in time to get a piece of that buff as well.
Yeah, very good timing by DOV to allow Lord of Aces to come up before actually securing the buff. That way everyone can have it, everyone gets a slice of the pie, Opa, everyone's happy. If you're DOV Nightfall. If you're Glacial, right now you're thinking, how do we come back? Which, at this point, I mean, you can try to turtle, but it's going to be extremely difficult just because of how far behind everyone is. Like, we're at the 23-minute mark, and that girl just now finally finished her Infinity Edge. So, it's definitely been a very rough game for her.
And on the side of DOV Nightfall, they've got super minions in 2 lanes, they've got Baron buff. We saw that this is an exact repeat of game 1 here, rinse and repeat as they're now shoving in. Lord of Aces going in really aggressively in the top lane without backup, but he's got minions, Web Hippo, Mohawk, and Gunth in the bot lane, looking to get that inhibitor turret here real quick, and Poison Lynch has arrived, so that's going to just get melted down completely here. But Windstorm taking damage, instantly gets ulted by the Malzahar, gets taken down. Cataclysm comes across the Nimue, he's gonna sink down as well, and now that girl getting absolutely chunked just off a single crit from Poison Lynch, but it's gonna be Raji going down first. He's not tanky enough, and finally that girl gets dove by Lord of Aces. Now it's just Kamehame left alive, running around the turrets, but it will not survive, and that's gonna be a double kill for Lord of Aces, an ace for DOB Nightfall, and that's gonna be game for DOB Nightfall as they finish off this game in 24-13, going to be the final time of this game here for DOV Nightfall.
Yeah. GG DOV Nightfall. Sorry Twitch chat, Lord of Aces denied you a chance at a raffle because honestly I feel like Poison Lich could have just got the pin kill right there. Poison Lich was putting out so much damage.
13,
Like,
3, and 3. The man was on a roll.
for real. So, better luck next time, chat.
And with that, we're just going to hit to a short intermission break while we set up for the post-game interview with DovN Nightfall. So we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Hello, everyone. We are here with our post-game interview, and we got with us tonight Gunth from DovN Nightfall. Welcome, Gunth. Hello, Gunth.
Hello? Oh, you cut off on me there.
Okay, sorry about that. Welcome, Gunth. So, welcome, first of all, welcome back to the league. You guys, DovN Nightfall, played last split, did really well for yourselves. So, glad to see you guys back.
You're cutting out real bad.
Hello? Okay.
Hello?
Are you there, buddy?
Yeah, you guys keep cutting out mid sentence.
Okay, sorry. Let's try that again here. Well, welcome back, Gunth, and the rest of DovN Nightfall. You guys played last split in the spring split. How does it feel to be back?
It's great. We love playing in the league. It's a lot of fun. You guys do a great job putting everything on. It's real good. We like the level of competition and good people to play with, so we really like it here.
Glad to hear. And week 1, you guys played against Glacial, Inferno in our new block of 3 system, and you won all 3 games. So how does that feel?
Pretty good. It was tough. They were a good team.
Yeah, good team. So which game out of the 3 games would you say was your favorite game and why?
Probably my favorite one was the first one, just because going into the season opener, you got the jitters, all the adrenaline, everything else, and starting off the season, going in playing a tough game and getting a win is always a fantastic way to set the pace, and it feels good.
For sure. And the game 1 was a pretty one-sided game too. You guys dominated from start to finish, kind of like your game 3 as well. But game 2, you guys actually started a bit on the back foot there. So was there a big difference in the mindset between the second game and the other 2 games, or?
No, not really. I mean, they got a really strong early lead on us, and we got way back behind, and we just all you can do at that point is we just kept not tilting and kept plugging away, telling each other, "Hey, keep working on it. We'll get in it. We'll get in it." And then we made a couple of good plays, and we got right back in it. So it worked out in our favor, but it was tough.
For sure. You guys certainly didn't make it look tough, especially the way you bounced back. in game 3 there. Definitely really good rebound for sure. And now in terms of your roster, I noticed tonight that you guys didn't have Phantom X with you guys. Instead, you had Mohawk Gaming supporting Web Hippo to the mid lane. So does that mean that this season you guys are going to be rotating players around, or?
Yeah, actually, we brought on Mohawk, and he's not a sub. He's a six man on the roster, and we're going to work him in some different positions and make sure everybody gets some play time. We did that because, like me, Poison, and some of the other guys with summer work schedules get pretty hectic, and we want to make sure we got plenty of coverage. And our philosophy is, if you're going to come in and play with us, you're going to play. You're not going to sit in the back and be a substitute or this and that and watch. If you're on the team, you're going to play.
Definitely an admirable sentiment, and one that I'm sure a lot of people will be happy to have on the team. And last but the winners, Raw Rampage actually ran his six-man roster as well. So certainly there is a history of six-man rosters working really well in the league here.
Yeah, plus he can fill a lot of gaps with it too, because everybody's champion pools are a little bit different. So if there's something that I don't play or maybe Phantom plays that we need in that game or whatever, it gives us another option to go to for a deeper pool.
For sure. So congrats once again for your 3-0 sweep here on week 1. And, is there anything you'd like to say to all the viewers before we end the interview?
If you get a chance, look up, find a league to play in, and give it a try. It's so much more fun when you have a team to play with.
Definitely, and there are lots of leagues out there. You can even join ours as well if you aren't already here. So thanks, Gunt, for coming on, and hope good luck for the rest of the season. Hope that you do just as well as you did tonight.
Thanks a lot. You guys have a good night, and thank you guys for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, that's week 1 done and over with, Luna. So, same question to you, I guess. Was there any particular game or moment that stood out to you tonight?
It's I'm torn between game 2 and game 3. I really liked the level of aggression that Glacial was able to front in game 2. And I just wish that they were able to transition out of just going for the kills and being able to find that sweet spot and get the objectives. Whereas in game 3, they didn't have a lot of kills early, but they were starting to get objectives. They were like, okay, there's neutral gold that we can get elsewhere, so we can play smarter and have more map control. And this time, I just feel like they might have focused a little bit too much on the objectives, and I feel they got caught out a bit more because of that. So there is some room for work there, but I do feel like they have the potential to be a very strong contender for the league.
For sure, yeah. We definitely saw improvement between games for Glacial Inferno, and they were getting better and better each and every game there, and just need a bit of tweaking most likely. Not to mention, DovN Nightfall is a very strong team. Last split, they were third solidly throughout the regular season as well, so definitely not an issue for Glacial Inferno to have fallen 0-3 against DovN Nightfall in week 1 when they're new to the league. That being said, I do think Glacial Inferno might need to take a look at the bot lane and try and fix that a little bit. They gave up a lot on the bot side of the map there.
Yeah, especially in game 3. Like I was saying, that girl, unfortunately, I'm not sure how she just got bullied so hard in lane, especially on a relatively safe pick like Jinx. But, I mean, if you're that far behind, there's got to be somewhere that you need to be able to look to where you need to come to the decision and be like, okay, I either need to just stay far in the back and just do what I can as some kind of utility, since Jinx does have the slow from Zap or the snare from Chompers, or the support or someone else needs to go with her so she can safely farm, whether it be jungle camps or just out of one of the side lanes, and just go up to the safest point possible at that time, depending on the map status. Ideally, at least up to river if possible, just so she can get some gold in her pocket, catch up in levels, and be able to actually contribute more to the fight. Especially on something like Jinx, because it doesn't take long for Jinx to become a threat. You only need like 2 items, and Jinx comes online.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely things that can be fixed within a week's time. So definitely looking forward to Glacial Inferno and seeing their improvement going into week 2 here. And with that, we are done for week 1 here. And that's probably going to be it from all of us here. Luna, anything to say before we sign off?
It was a great week one. I'm looking forward to see how the other games go uh, in the further casts, and I'm excited to see how the rest of the league's going to pan out. Very strong showing.
100% agree with you there. So, everyone, thank you for tuning in tonight and watching the stream. Please do give us a follow if you do like. And if you want to watch the rest of the games, feel free to take a look at the panels below for the schedule of when we'll be casting all those other games as well. They will also be uploaded to the YouTube channel, which is also in our panels below. So, please feel free to take a look. And with that, from all of us here at Coalition League, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.